Hi guys, welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Savannah. I make videos about life, things that I've gone through, hopefully to make it a little easier for you, so that you don't have to hopefully learn lessons the same way I did and the hard way. It's a lot easier to take advice from other people and to apply that to your own life than it is to have to go through a crappy situation. So we laugh, we cry, we share things together. But recently I have been opening the door to conversation that is scary and hard to talk about, hence the aversion of eye contact in that moment. Hello, I'm talking to you. Is bipolar disorder, which I have been particularly dealing with a lot lately because it's starting to become more of a thing in my life. But anyways, this video in particular is going to be about what it's like to be in a mania. I am kind of manic right now, and you can kind of tell by the shiftiness, the kind of misplaced thoughts here and there. Of course, with more of what I'm gonna show you and tell you about my day. I am purposely doing this video without a script, without anything specific, because I want to show what it's like to be kind of running through your thoughts free of their own free will when you're on a manic episode. But being manic is really hard to describe, because it sometimes can come across as excitement, but sometimes it's aggravation. It's very elevated emotions. Also, my eye is kind of red because I've had some weird allergic reactions lately, so I'm not stoned, don't worry about it. But okay, so being manic, it just is, you're very elevated. Everything's very elevated. My mom and I talk a lot on the phone while I'm driving, because I'll be driving to or from work or whatever, and I'm on the phone, and she will point out to me when I am in a mania. A lot of the times I can tell, but sometimes you can't, because it's just your day-to-day life, and I'm just starting to get used to the signs and the symptoms of the ups and downs. But I'll be screaming at people. I'll be driving and people will just be driving slow, and I'll be like, no, you don't get it, Mom. It's just particular day. People are driving really slow, 15 under the speed limit, blah, 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 screaming. Whereas, when I'm chill, I'm just driving, and I don't really care how fast I'm going. I wasn't in I can remember the specific time that we had this conversation where she said, if I filmed you right now and showed it to you later, you wouldn't believe what you're hearing, because it's very dramatic. And I can a lot of people have misconceptions about bipolar disorder because it can come off as very dramatic. Or sometimes when I make a video and I might be in a manic episode, I'm very elevated, I'm very see, it's my brain is frying. I'm very excited. That was what I was going to say. You're very excited. Everything's amplified. Everything's all over the place. You have so many ideas and things that you want to say all at once. And so you just get so scrambled. Being in a mania, you tend to go off on tangents and get all these crazy ideas, or even just get hooked on an idea and run with it. So maybe you'll start a job that doesn't really make you happy, but you see potential in it, and you're like, oh my god, I could totally do this. I'm gonna run with this. This is a great idea. I could totally excel in this. This is something I'm totally capable of. And then you just kind of throw yourself into it until you throw yourself into it until you start to come down, and you're like, wait, I'm not happy. This isn't I'm successful, and this is something that I could do very well. Clearly I'm doing it, but I'm not happy, and this is not what I want, and I've just made this idea and ran with it. Sorry, my hair looks like a mess right now because I had it up, and I didn't want to have it up for the video. That looks a little better. But you have this idea and you run with it, and sometimes it's about relationships, sometimes it's about work, sometimes it's just little things, little projects. Earlier I found myself fixating on all of the art that I have up in the house, and all the different places and ways that I could put it and move it so that it'll look better. These are things that happen really spontaneously, that you know, you don't think about for a while, or you don't, it's very like, oh, this would look great over here and I should do this instead, blah, 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 blah. And I'm probably going to end up doing a lot of those things. And then I remember when I was younger, I knew somebody whose mom would move things around consistently, like constantly move the furniture around and be like, this needs to, like, you can never find anything, because there's just constant, like, you get an idea and you run with it. And what I was saying earlier is a lot of people have misconceptions about bipolar mania, or just bipolar disorder in general, because it can come off as dramatic. There are instances where it can be totally out of left field. But on the other end of things, it's very likely that you know somebody who has bipolar disorder and you don't know. And you don't see it. Because some people are better at hiding it. Some people do everything they can to hide it. And some people are a lot better at kind of coping with the way they're feeling and the way that things are swinging around. In terms of, for me, I tend to have a new job or a new situation every couple months. I convince myself I love what I'm doing. I run with it. I'm on a manic high. I go up and up and up and up, and then I come down. And sometimes it takes a few times swinging down for it to happen, but I come down, I crash, and boom, I don't like where I am again. And this doesn't mean that a lot of people go through this doesn't mean that you're doomed. This doesn't mean that you can never have it. It just means that for me, having bipolar disorder makes it very easy for me to fixate on something, run with it, and then get tired of it or realize that it's not for me. And when I do, I dramatically and instantly drop it. Another example of being on a mania, I've spent the entire day cleaning. I did a meditation this morning where I pinpointed the 3 things I could do that could be most effective with my day, that I wanted to get done. Because Tony Robbins says you need to pick 3 important things to do in your day, so that way you can focus on getting those most important things done, because we're going to make a to-do list and we're going to have all these crazy things, but just focus on the most important ones. I want to do yoga, organize my finances, and film a video. This is the only one of those 3 things that I'm doing right now. I made a to-do list. As you can see, these are all of the things that I needed to do as most important. And I have to check this off. But I literally did all of these other things. And the other thing that I do as part of a mania is, if I already do something that isn't on my list, I add it to the list and check it off, so I feel like I've gotten more done. Because the idea of not getting things done drives me absolutely bonkers. Because, like, when you're in a mania, you feel like you can do anything. You feel like you're on top of the world. You feel like, I'm fine, everything's good. Why would I freak out and worry? Switching jobs, like, it's okay. A lot of the times you get yourself on, like, a train track that just goes and goes and goes and goes, and you don't realize that you're being led to a broken track. You're being led to the end of the road, going full speed, charging off into nothing. And that's why it's so important to be able to recognize when you are in a mania, if you do have bipolar disorder, if you are going up and up and up and up, you need to check in with somebody, or you need to kind of write down, keep track. I actually recently bought a mood journal so I can start tracking my manias, so I can start analyzing myself a little more logically. But check in with other people if you need to and say, does this sound normal? Is this a little crazy? Is this a lot? Not crazy, but is this a lot all of a sudden? Because one of the things that I've had the biggest issue with in terms of accepting my disorder has been, is this me or is this the mania? Is this my thought, my feelings, or is this a manic episode where I'm about to derail just about everything that's happening. And I had a conversation with one of my best friends who also has bipolar disorder. And he said that it is always you. You just need to recognize when you are having a mania. It's always your thoughts, your ideas. It's always authentically you. And it's not fair to take that authenticity away from yourself just because it's something a little out of your control in terms of the thought patterns and action patterns. Sorry, I got a text. You just need to make sure that you don't let these things take over your life. If you recognize that you are in a mania, take the time to take logical steps. Because while spontaneity is great and while it is amazing and it's very good to lead with your intuition, it's also can be very detrimental if you are manic depressive, if you do have these swings, especially because they're not always consistent. You can't always predict them. I had a down that lasted like 2 or 3 days, maybe 4 or something like that. I don't remember. It was like maybe a week max. And then I just started swinging up again. And it's just swinging down and swinging up and swinging up, swinging down. And sometimes I'm like, I'm not always at the top. Right here, right now, I'm at the top. I spent today deep cleaning my entire apartment because I was like, if I clean my apartment, then like everything will be clean and then I won't be able to freak out about it anymore and I won't be able to think about it and it'll just be done. I don't have to worry about it anymore. And like in all of today, I did like 10 loads of laundry, of like all of my laundry, and like my roommate's laundry too, but like we have an agreement thing, whatever, but like 10 loads of, I cleaned all of my bedding because I'm convinced that I'm allergic to the cat and he's all over my bedding all the time. So I like in one day was like, I'm going to clean all of my bedding. I'm going to clean all of my laundry. I'm going to clean absolutely like everything. I made the living room spotless. I organized like the candles. I cleaned the entire kitchen, like wiped down every surface. And this is, it's good things, but I had very specific things that I needed to accomplish today. And I went obsessive over other things. It can feel like a lot. Like when I walk into a room when I'm feeling manic, if I don't have the next task like put right in front of me, and sometimes even if it's put right in front of me, like my brain will find something else that I need to do. I walked into the room earlier, it was a mess and I had a whole bunch of stuff to do and I had this like to-do list and I had to write down numbers next to specific things and be like, this is what I need to focus on right now. And then I didn't focus on that and I didn't do that. I'm still learning how to cope. The biggest thing is just to take it one step at a time and be patient with yourself and, recognize and point out priorities and literally separate yourself from anything else that could be a distraction. Because being in my messy house, I could not I could not distract myself from it. It's possible to be operable. I mean, I spent the whole day cleaning my apartment, which is not a bad thing. You just have to know when you need to kind of rein yourself in and analyze yourself. I am very fortunate to have a mom who understands and who actively is there for me through any episode I'm having or just any question or whatever. It's very necessary to speak out about it and to accept it and to be able to talk about it like it's a real thing, because it is. And you could very easily throw yourself off track if you don't hold yourself accountable and have other people that hold you accountable too, to just being you, but also being an operable you, while also accepting the you that sometimes isn't as operable. I don't know what I'm saying other than you just need to talk about it and be there for yourself, because it's okay. And a lot of people do go to therapy. They do seek out medication. And I personally, maybe I will get to that point, but I don't do those things. But I definitely think that my approach is not for everybody, and sometimes you need that. But it's really just whatever is going to work best for you to get better. And not even just get better, cope, because it's going to be something that you deal with your whole life. I guess my rambling is probably a good example of what it's like to be in a mania. I still am embarrassed about it, but hopefully it at least made for an educational video and you can see what it's like. Yeah. Thanks guys for watching. Have a great rest of your day, your week, your month, your existence, and thank you so much for letting me be this vulnerable with you on camera. Have a great rest of your... I already said that. And I look forward to reconnecting with you guys at a further date. Bye.